Hi, it's Shelly here. Fair warning, we are under a severe thunderstorm watch and it's dark and very still. So if I drop off the face of the earth, I'm just here in my kitchen, probably with no power or Wi-Fi. So here we go. We're gonna make, we're actually in the process of making chicken and dumplings. The chicken is cooking with the vegetables and I'm gonna make the dumplings. So I checked with my mom. This is comfort food for our family. So this is like a, one of our favorite things to have. And when my mom is visiting, usually Anna asks her to make chicken and dumplings at some point. So I figured let's make it today. So what I'm gonna do is a little hack. And when you find me, just type in the comments on your phone or on your desktop, wherever, just say hi in the comments so that we can visit and it will feel like you're here with me. And I always love that. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching in replay, type replay in the comments. But anyways, all right, so what I'm gonna do is show you a cheater, a hack, an easy way to make dumplings and cobblers, because it seems to be about the same formula. And what it is it's like what they consider self-rising flour, which I never buy because I have all the makings of self-rising flour. So I'm gonna make my own self-rising flour, show you just how stinking easy it is, and you probably have the ingredients, you don't have to go buy it. And then the hack is using this instead of the butter and milk. All right, so let's start. My mom's recipe is 1.5 cups for the dumplings, 1.5 cups of flour. And so I'm just gonna scoop this. So you notice I'm like a bit of a, I don't know, maybe I don't know. But when you bake, always use dry and wet measures appropriately. You'll get, it's just easier. They're designed for that particular thing. So dry, you put it in and you level it off. And with wet, you watch the level in the thing. So you're not worried about overflowing it. So if I did 1 cup in a dry measure, it'd be right to the very tippy top and I'd be spilling it everywhere. So, they're all designed to make you not frustrated. All right, hold on. I'm gonna get 1 cup of whipping cream instead of my mom's recipe, which is 3 tablespoons of softened butter and 3/4 cup of milk, because it's pretty much the same formula. Don't you think that's genius, right? Okay, so then it's 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So here's what we do for the baking powder is we just cut it in half so there's always a leveler, so you don't have to shake. 1, 2. Does anyone else do that? I'm curious if you do. Please comment in. And she does a teaspoon, which is quite a bit actually, of salt. What the heck? My grandma, who I write about sometimes and share her pancake recipe, she called herself Salty Mary because, she always put lots of salt in. Okay, so my default is always, and I'm just gonna do it, sorry, I use the Flex Plus for like everything. And one of the things you need to know is that all of our appliances are on sale this month, $100 off, which is amazing. And this little guy I use is just this, looks like nothing, and it is just like Mighty Mouse. And I love that it's all battery operated. Okay, so here we go. And I'm gonna go relatively slowly. I don't want to overwork this, but I'm just going to bring it to a quick mixture. So you notice the one I used is not a whisk. There, and it's all now moistened. Okay, so we'll take that off. Maybe this is not a good idea. Let's see. And we're going to pull this out. The thing about using the butter and milk is, if you have them, if you don't have the, whichever is easiest for you, use. But it saves, for many people who are not bakers, it saves them that hassle. Oh, hold on. My dishwasher's on and it always makes so much noise in the sink when it drains. So it saves you the hassle of working it in, and there we go. And we'll just get the last of this out of here. But you're not supposed to overwork the flour, which maybe I did, I don't know. All right, there, it's ready to scoop in and make our dumplings. Okay, so if I was making a cobbler, right now I have the topping ready and to scoop onto that. How cool. All right, so this just disassembles and goes back in the drawer. There's 2 of these. This is rechargeable. It lasts me several weeks per charge, and I use it pretty much every day. And so if you like the convenience factor of that, then there we go. All right, so here's the thing about the quick cooker, is that, you know, my recipe didn't call for me to use not the quick cooker, the new one is called the multi cooker. So the recipe was not specifically for the multi cooker, but what the multi cooker is great at is when you have anything that has some liquid in it, which chicken and dumplings does, that liquid will create the pressure, the steam which creates the pressure. And what it does is it cooks it basically, because everything's contained and it's pressurized, it's shoving the pressure through the food, which cooks it that much faster. And it also shoves the flavors through the food. So it gives you the flavor of having been slow cooked. And so all of that, the celery and onions and carrots, that all flavors the chicken. So you know what, in 10 minutes or so, it took about 10 minutes for it to come up to pressure, and I set it for 10 minutes to cook under pressure, and now the time is up. So it's ready to let the steam off and go ahead and put my dumplings in there. So we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna press the steam release button at the front. It's giving me a warning. There she goes. So it'll take a bit, because I'm rushing it a little bit. I maybe should have waited another, 10 minutes just to let it calm down in there a little bit, because it's still really under pressure. But time is ticking because we're live and we don't have time to wait. So what I'm going to do while I'm getting ready is use these scoops to get these kind of portioned out a little bit. So this is going to be my dumplings. So it's that easy. I don't know. You don't need Bisquick. No offense against Bisquick, but it's just one more thing to buy for them to put some really simple ingredients together and you to pay extra for it. So if you're looking to cut costs, making your own pancake mix, make your own self-rising flour. It's so much cheaper when you can put it together yourself, because obviously it costs somebody else to put it together, and we're going to pay more for that. So do go ahead and if you look on the Paper Chef website, look up, there's a peach cobbler. I'm going to be doing that as one of my stay for dessert recipes, and I'll be showcasing that shortly. So if you're not on that list and you want to be, I send it out once a month, and I kind of break down a dessert recipe, and showcase kind of any tips that I can come up with, that I can think of that might be helpful for people who aren't, great, feel confident bakers. And I put that out with all the news. And just drop a comment just to stay, I'd like to stay for dessert. Because it's kind of a nice thing to do, is to stay for dessert, right? All right, this is almost ready, you can hear it. What I have prepared is this glass lid for the multi-cooker, so that, so what my mom said is that she simmers it for about 10 minutes uncovered with the dumplings in there, and then another 10 minutes covered. But if there's extra water, then she takes that off. So we're gonna go see. All right, so that's done. I'm gonna take it off, and I'm going to bring it to you, just the pot to you, so you can see what it looks like inside. Oh, it smells so good. Smells so delicious. All right, we'll bring this over. So you can see that there's liquid in there, but the things are gonna sit, I don't think it's too much. No, because the dumplings are gonna basically sit up on top of the vegetables. So it's easy for them to steam. So here we go, wish me luck. So now the next feature that we're gonna use, and so hopefully, what I'm hoping here is by showing you this particular recipe, is that you feel more confident to ad lib and use your multi-cooker, even though the recipe didn't necessarily call for a pressure cooker. Because it really is so versatile. I think that's the thing that I love about the quick cooker, is how versatile it is. And so whether it's a recipe, you know, you're making something because you're in a hurry, and like me, you know, rarely are super organized with meals, or you're doing things that you could cook from scratch, like stock and legumes and stuff like that, rather than buying them canned. So whatever, whatever your angle is on using it, I want you to feel that you have the confidence to use it for all kinds of things. So making yogurt, made yogurt this the other day. Okay, so those are sitting on top, and I'm gonna go put it over here and treat it as though it were sitting in a pot on the stove. So watch how we do that. So we put it in here and we press cancel, and then we're gonna turn it to the sear function. So sear is like browning. This is how you would brown your pot roast before you slow cook it. So I'm gonna use that same, which is like a frying pan. So that stainless bowl, bin, whatever, pot, is effectively gonna act like a frying pan, but because it's tall sided, it's gonna be like a little Dutch oven. And so I'm gonna go ahead and tell it to, there's 3 heat settings, low, medium, and high. Because I want to simmer and steam, I'm just going to do low, and I'm going to set it for 15 minutes. Actually, I'll set it for 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to go click change the time to 20, and then I'm going to press the button again, and I'm going to change from high to low, and then I'm going to press start. There we go. So it's sitting here now for, I'm gonna wait for 10 minutes, let it cook for 10 minutes, and then after 10, I'm gonna put the lid on. And hopefully we're gonna have chicken and dumplings in like 30 minutes from scratch. I use chicken thighs, I put 6 chicken thighs in, and then I just covered them with enough water that they were covered. I threw in a bunch of carrots, a bunch of celery, and a bunch of onion. I had red onion from the farm. I put some of the greens in because it's really quite potent, and it smells like farm vegetables. It smells absolutely delicious. So again, whatever kind of onions you had, I still had some carrots in the fridge from last year, and they were starting to grow little roots on them, so peeled them all off, used them up, because you might as well. It's time to use them up because the new ones need to be picked. Oh yes, I did press start. And yeah, so I didn't measure anything, but I just covered it. I put a little bit of salt in, some pepper to finish it. I will put some pepper in. It would be really great finished with some parsley, I think. Maybe some lovage. Anybody ever have lovage? It's something that the farm has. The farm, I keep referring to the farm, it's Mount Wolf Farms, and that's where I have a veggie share there. And so I get all these delicious local vegetables that they grow. It's so yummy. But yeah, lovage is, it smells a bit like celery, and it's a leafy vegetable. It looks kind of like celery leaves, actually. It's a bit of an old-fashioned vegetable. It's very strong. So a little bit of lovage would be good, and I think I might still have some from last year that's dried. And so I could have put that in. I didn't think to do it. I'm not sure what else you would put in it. Does anyone else make chicken and dumplings? I'm curious. Please drop them in the comments. Do you make them? And what do you put in yours? Is it this simple as like my mom's? Yeah, and what's your favorite part of it? I think it's the, you know what I think it's so good about it is the broth is almost sticky, like on your lips. It's almost sticky when you're eating it. It's so like there's just all that bone broth in there, and the meat just falls off the bone, and it's juicy and it's easy to eat and it's full of flavor. It's just comfort food. I don't know. That's my thing. So if you would like me to post the recipe or anything, I could try. But I would be sort of winging it. But I'd be happy to share the dumplings recipe. But you know, it's 1.5 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt. That's it. Stir it together and add a cup of whipping cream. Stir together and spoon it in. So it's super easy. Hopefully that's a bit inspiring. And if you're not aware, all of our appliances are on $100 off this month, and my VIP people are getting extra deals right now this week. So if you're not part of that group, please let me know. Just drop me in the comments. If I'm assuming I'm your consultant. If I'm not, then go get your consultant and get on it. Make sure that you get all the deals, because that was a crazy announcement. So the Deluxe Multi Cooker is normally $349. It's $249. So and then if you're a host, you can get that 60% off. So it's like under $100. It's such a great deal. So this is the time to load up on the appliances that are going to help you be more productive, more efficient, save money in the fall. You know, in all those seasons where we do so much indoor cooking, we want you to have everything that we have in our Pampered Chef kitchens. So just a little shout out to the appliances. They have changed how I cook. But you know, the approach that I take, and I encourage each of you to take, all of my customers to take, is to learn them. It's something new, but we can all learn to cook and bake. And what I do with a new Pampered Chef tool is I figure, okay, well, why was this designed? They obviously did a bunch of research and had people asking for this kind of stuff, so I'm gonna learn from other people. And I think, okay, so what's it good at? And I make all of the recipes that come with it. And then I branch out from there. And so, you know, using the air fryer, it's such a great tool for families of 1 to 3. You'll cook most of your food in there. And then it's great also for young people learning to cook, because there's no hot surfaces that you're dealing with other than the little rack, but like it's only hot afterwards, and you know, it's minimal. It's really safe to use for someone learning to cook, and you can just reheat stuff or reheat pizza in there, and it does such a fabulous job of so many foods. And then, you know, for people like us, we're now usually 2 to 3 people cooking, but full adults, and usually we cook for leftovers, so we don't cook like a small amount of food, but we still use it like so many times a week. And so the air fryer has completely changed how we cook. We use the oven so much less, and it just uses a plug. And if electricity, you know, if you have a way to do electricity cheap, then it's even better. So the air fryer absolutely changes how I cook. The quick cooker, sorry, the first generation was called the quick cooker, the multi cooker, and again, another game changer on littler things. So all of the like soup stock, you just put your stuff in, cover it in water, press soup stock, and in 30 minutes, it takes about an hour start to finish, you have, you know, stock that has been simmered, feels like effectively simmered for hours and hours and hours, and it didn't, you know, smell up the whole house. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but you know, it's just so fast and efficient and clean and easy, and you don't have to babysit it. It doesn't have to boil over. It is phenomenal. I'll show you the yogurt. Okay, so hold on 1 second. So I made 2 of these. So 2 big jars. So this one is almost done, you can see. And it's getting a bit runny as it goes on, but I put no thickeners in there. So it's just milk and yogurt culture. That's it. So if you look at store yogurt and look at the ingredients, a lot of them have thickeners. They have gelatin and cornstarch. Usually both, and sometimes skim milk powder. So all of those things make it firm up. So if that's how you like your yogurt, add them to your milk. So you'll get the same results. And then this one hasn't been used yet, and so it's still quite nice and thick and creamy. It's a vanilla yogurt, so all you add to it, to your milk, is like 8 cups of milk, bring it up to 180 some degrees, take it down to 112-ish degrees, and then stir in about a half a cup of yogurt, and in this case, half a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Again, this recipe right out of our multi-cooker cooking guide. I tried it, it's phenomenal. We love it, and it's so much cheaper. I think it's $1.45 versus, what's it, the math I did, $3 or $4 for the equivalent. So it is about a third of the price to make your own. And then it just sits there on the yogurt setting for 8 hours. So you can do it before you go to bed, get up in the morning and spoon it into your jars. As soon as it's cooled, it's ready to eat. And then what I did was I saved a little bit in a separate container, and this will be my starter for next time. And so you just go from one to the next to the next, because basically yogurt is it's a bacteria that goes into the milk. It makes it that yogurty taste and texture. It keeps the milk from going bad, which is why it was probably developed in the first place, because, you know, when you didn't have refrigeration, you have to keep your milk somehow. And so, you know, developing these cultures, and then, you know, just, you know, you infect the next batch with the same culture, bacteria culture, and it spreads to the whole thing. And then you save a bit, use the rest, and do it again and again and again. And so you can go on ad infinitum, making your own yogurt with your multi-cooker that saves you time and money, you know, endlessly, it seems like. So go ahead and, you know, think about the multi-cooker. I love it. So the other thing that you're gonna love it for is if you will try sous vide. And sous vide means under vacuum, and it essentially gives you the ability to put your food in a bag with its flavors, put the pot basically 2/3 deep with water, and set the temperature of your water that is gonna be the end temperature of your cooking food. And you submerge it, except for the seal, it's above the water, put the lid on and tell it to keep it at that exact water temperature for however many hours it needs to be in there. So steak, 135 degrees, 2 hours, you put it in a sealed bag, and you will have medium rare, beautiful, tender, medium rare steak. You can do roast, you can do chicken, you can do all kinds of things. So we did a beef tenderloin in there the other day. It was absolutely delicious. Then you just sear it at the end to get the color and extra flavor, and you have restaurant quality meats. So again, you love a great steak, but you're not confident to do it well, or you like it like really beautifully done, sous vide will do that for you. So again, we'll teach you all those things. So, you know, the appliances will change how you cook if you're open to learning new things. And that's what I'm here for, is to inspire you, to teach you, to answer all of your questions. So this is the time to take advantage of the sale. And this week only, I have, for my VIPs, I have an extra incentive for them. And so make sure that you let me know you want to be part of that. The other ones are obviously the Flex Plus, which I use a lot. I already told you about it, the Deluxe Electric Grill and Griddle, and the cooking blender. I use them all the time. And I feel a little bit spoiled, but I'm so thankful to have all of these appliances in my kitchen and use them day in and day out. They pay for themselves really quickly, and then from then on, they just, you know, your money just compounds, because that one investment that you make in a tool is going to save you so much money down the road. Not to mention all the food waste, you know, even the yogurt containers that we're not going through because we're just reusing the same containers over and over again. So it all adds up, and I think this is such a great time for you to look at Pampered Chef. So take a really good look at it this week. Make sure that you have had a really great look at all the appliances, and do that. I have a group where we're doing that. So again, just drop me a note and you'll get included. Okay, so my 10 minutes, 11 minutes is up. It's down to 9. Okay, I'm gonna bring it over here really quickly. Not really supposed to do this, but I'll show you. Okay, so this is it. Simmering away, there's my dumplings after 10 minutes uncovered. And now I'm gonna put the lid on for the rest of the time. And in 10 minutes, it'll be done. So, I hope you were, it would be nice if you were here to enjoy this comfort food, this old-fashioned comfort food with me, but maybe this will inspire you to make it in your own kitchen. So I hope you avoid the worst of the weather, and I hope we do too. Have a great evening. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in my kitchen today. We'll talk soon.